In business, on the bench, and as part of the legal and lobbying organizations that do the District of Columbia, these are the lawyers who have stretched practices, built courts, law firms, and companies, and that have inspired political activism and legal scholarship. A visionary is someone who has visions, a seer, an impractical dreamer.
We have very little industry in Washington. If you're a Chicago lawyer, you tend to be general counsel to a major firm in Chicago, major company in Chicago, because there are so many major Midwestern companies. In Washington, people come to Washington for problem solving.
The community is civic-minded, and many lawyers in this city have been leaders in the pro bono effort to provide legal services for all people.
White-collar practitioners here, I think, are the best in the country. Most of their cases are all over the country. Also, I think the white-collar bar in Washington has so distinguished itself. My colleagues have so distinguished themselves that they're sought after by people in trouble all over the country.
Well, what distinguishes the Washington legal market from other markets is, in a word, the presence of the federal government. There's no question about it that the law firms have reacted to that and have reacted to the tremendous growth and expansion of the federal government over the years. And that's changed, I think, the stereotype of the Washington lawyer. Once there was perhaps a romantic ideal of a Clark Clifford that could solve every problem that a client may have, every organ of the federal government. I think today, the expansion of the government, the complexity of it, has made it very difficult for there to be such an individual.
I was not the first woman on the D.C. circuit. Patricia Wald was, and she had been there for 9 months before I came. And no one questioned her tremendous intelligence, drive. That made it easier for me.
There are more law firms that make pro bono a critical part of their practice, and they have leaders in those firms who make sure that those values are upheld. A lot of them have pro bono leaders in their law firms who are dedicated exclusively to pro bono.
Well, there's no doubt that the revolving door revolves in Washington, D.C. I happen to think that if ethically done, and I think it's the great majority of cases, it enriches both the government and the private sector. That is, you have people coming out of the government who understand what the decision-making process is, they understand what's needed to make good public policy, and they certainly benefit the law firms and their clients in that respect. And then you have people who have been trained in that atmosphere in the private sector, going into government and frankly helping the government to rule better, to work better.